Hello everyone, back tuning into Snowwatch on Boxing Day. So we've got a bit of a situation coming up tonight and tomorrow in the form of an area of low pressure heading up from the south. It's going to run across southern counties of the country, bringing a lot of heavy rain. Might be up to 25-30 millimetres of rain in some parts of the south tonight and tomorrow morning. So a lot of wet weather. But also as this rain engages with colder air through the night and into tomorrow morning, it might produce some snow as well, and the snow results likely particularly for Wales and the Midlands overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Maybe some other parts of sort of central southwestern England. So I'll tell you for everything that's going on in a moment. It's another very, very difficult one, tricky one to judge. So it's quite a marginal situation, and I'll just talk you through the very latest on this for Snowwatch today. But thanks for tuning in on your Boxing Day. I hope you had a lovely Christmas. The historic video looking at winter of 2008-2009, which was released yesterday on Christmas Day, is still on the homepage, so if you haven't seen it yet, have a look if you get time. Right, so this is the satellite picture from earlier on today, and this swirl of white cloud in the Atlantic, as a British Isles, an island of course, the swirl of white cloud in the Atlantic here is the developing area of low pressure. It's going to be moving in from off the Atlantic through the course this afternoon into tonight and into tomorrow. You can already see that wet weather across the far south of Ireland into southwestern parts of England as well. Already some bright colours in there on the radar pictures from weatheroutlook.com. By the way, you can already see the bright colours in there across parts of southwest England and southern Ireland, indicating already the rain is quite heavy. We've got wintry showers as well up in the north. Let's have a look at the precipitation type. So they're not showing up all that well, but some of these showers up in the north and west, they are wintry. If we add in the dew point, you can see that northern parts of the country, the dew point is around freezing. Further south, the dew point is actually a few degrees above freezing. So to start off with, this is going to be mainly rain. This is going to be later in the night and through the course of tomorrow that we're going to find that rain turning increasingly to snow through specific parts of the country. Here's the facts chart. This is the human interpretation of models by forecasters at the UK Met Office. So you can see that at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is where we're starting with these, we've got a deep area of low pressure at 973 millibars across parts of East Anglia and southeast England. There's also a weather front that's lying across the southeast as well. It's on the northern side of this low pressure, our weather front, that would bring down these cold northerly winds. That's how the facts chart looks for midday tomorrow, where that low pressure started to move off in towards the low countries. And then that does leave us in a straight run of cold northerly. So it will be a cold day tomorrow and into Thursday when we get rid of this area of low pressure. This is how the GFS is seeing things then. So this is the area of low pressure just here down to the southwestern part of the country at 6 o'clock this evening, moving in from off the Atlantic. Remember, at this point it's mostly rain that's pushing in because the air is actually coming up a little bit from the south around that area of low pressure. That's how things are looking at midnight, where the low pressure is lying across central southern counties of England. And now on the northern and western side of this low pressure, we are starting to get these northerly winds beginning to push down. So at this point, we're probably starting to turn some of the rain to snow through parts of Wales and the north-west Midlands, but generally still up to midnight, quite a lot of rain for most parts of the country. Now at 6 o'clock in the morning, where the low pressure is heading over towards East Anglia and South East England, roughly where it was on that first facts chart, and by then the northerly winds really are starting to tuck in. So at this point we could be starting to turn the rain increasingly to snow through Wales, the Midlands, possibly some other central, southern and southwestern parts of the country. Over in the southeast, still likely to be mostly falling as rain. Now by midday tomorrow, that low pressure is heading into the low countries, and then the winds are going into the north for all of us. Does imply that we should start to see the rain turning to snow even in the southeast. But I think at that point, the problem is going to be the intensity of the precipitation, because there's going to be very intense precipitation through the night, but tomorrow morning it's going to lose a lot of its energy. So, yes, there may be some flakes of snow into the southeast tomorrow morning, but I suspect what's going to happen is that the front will sort of weaken quite markedly, and so we probably won't have much in the way of wintry weather in the southeast. The complicating factor with this is what we see here with the upper air temperatures. We've got a big warm sort of sector coming in with this low pressure. So where you've got that yellow area just there, which is the 0 Celsius isotherm or above at 850 HPA, it cannot snow in that area. In this green area, where we're under 0 degrees, so between sort of 0 and -5 degrees in this green area, technically it can snow. It will depend on what the dew point is doing and other parameters. But in that yellow area, it can't snow. So for much of this evening, it's just going to be heavy rain that we have in the south. But that's how the dew point is looking at midnight. And you can see that again, generally away from northern England, North Wales at midnight, the dew points are above freezing. So again, that does imply up to midnight, it is mostly rain away from highest ground. That's how things look at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then the upper air temperatures are becoming much colder. We're losing that yellow area, and we're pushing down the -5 Celsius isotherm. Much more of a suggestion there with the upper air temperatures of snow, particularly through Wales and Midlands. Less so for East Anglia and southeastern parts of England. And the dew point is also starting to fall below freezing, particularly through Wales, the Midlands, particularly the North and West Midlands. Again, in the southeast, the dew points are still above freezing at 6 o'clock in the morning. Midday tomorrow finds that the -5 isotherm is moving through the country, so then the upper air temperatures are much more supportive of snow, and the dew points are beginning to drop below freezing, even into some parts of eastern England, although the far southeast is still above freezing with a dew point. But as at that point through the morning tomorrow, the problem is probably going to be that the precipitation will be rapidly starting to die out. This is from the weatheroutlook.com. Unfortunately, the page is just updating again, so I'm going to get it all set up for you. So let's go to precipitation type, and let's start in around 12 hours time. So we're starting at 6 o'clock this evening. This is based on that GFS run, by the way. So you see at 6 o'clock in this evening, heavy rain into southwest England, South Wales, quite a lot of wet weather stretching through southern parts of British Isles as well. A little bit of snow across the North Welsh mountains, but otherwise just mostly rain. Up to 9 o'clock in the evening, turns very wet across much of England and Wales. Don't discount the rain with this, despite the fact that the snow is getting a lot of attention. The rain is also a big factor with this. This is a very heavy rain event, so we could well see up to 25 or 30 millimetres of rain from this area of low pressure going over an inch in a short space of time. There may be a few problems with flash flooding on the roads. By 9 o'clock in the evening, the rain is beginning to turn to snow more widely across the northern parts of Wales. And then up to midnight, you see that the rain is starting to turn to snow, and it's heavy snow through parts of Wales into the northwestern Midlands as well. And then 3 to 3 o'clock in the morning, that snow area starts to become more widespread, so down into some southwestern parts of England, getting up through Wales into the West Midlands and the North Midlands in particular. Some heavy snow there. Purple colours indicate some quite heavy snow. Further eastwards, we've got heavy outbreaks of rain continuing. And then by 6 o'clock in the morning, most of the Midlands has moderate to heavy outbreaks of snow. Excuse me. And that also extends down to southwest England too. Through East Anglia and the southeast, it is still falling mostly as rain. But over the course of tomorrow morning, that snow area pushes eastwards. But remember, at this point, it's starting to fizzle out. So it's mostly just a wintry mix, not amounting to much, I would have thought, that's pushing into the far southeast. By the end of tomorrow, we finish up mostly dry, wintry showers draped around the coast, probably quite a bit of frost and ice. This is how the high-res Arpège model is picking things up. This is from Meteo France. So again, 6 o'clock in the evening, mostly rain here across central southern parts of England and Wales through the night. We find that the snow area develops through Wales into parts of the Midlands and some southwestern parts of England as well. That's how things look at 7 o'clock in the morning. And then through tomorrow morning, you see that that area of precipitation is in the southeast, but by this point it's just mostly rain. Even though the colder upper air temperatures are pushing in, it's mostly rain, and that's because we're losing the intensity of the precipitation. So just a wintry mix there, pushing through the southeast, not amounting too much. We end tomorrow mostly dry, frosty and cold. And next we'll have a look at the high ratio Euro 4 model from the website Weather Online. You find a link to Weather Online and weatherout.com. That's all of the websites used for this video. You can find the links on the links page. So this is 6 o'clock in the evening, quite wet across much of England and Wales, just mostly rain at that point. This, as we go through, not sure why these pages are continuously updating through this video. It's very annoying. This is midnight, so we've got outbreaks of rain across much of England and Wales, and there is some snow in there across parts of Wales and the North and West Midlands as well, indicated by that pink area. We go through to 6 o'clock in the morning with quite a bit of snow there pushing through the Midlands. Although it does look a little bit patchier here. It's not going for it quite as much, I don't think, as the GFS is. Quite sort of showery so. But there are some bright pink colours in there, particularly through the Midlands, indicating the chance of some really quite heavy snow pushing through that central part of England tomorrow morning. Then we go through to midday and we find that areas pushing into the southeast. And again, the precipitation is rapidly weakening, losing its intensity. So although there is a little bit of pink in there, a little bit of wintry stuff, generally it's fizzling out as it moves into the southeast. That's the total snow depth that we're expecting by midday tomorrow. You can see that we have got a bit of cover here across mid parts of Wales down into the Welsh mountains, that sort of area. And then we go through to Midlands, and there is a little bit of snow cover there as well. But again, it does look quite patchy. It's just a very specific area, really through the central part of the Midlands. So sort of Birmingham, over towards, say, Northants, maybe, going a little bit further east back to Rutland, somewhere like that. And then south down towards Milton Keynes, somewhere like that, in a very specific area. There is quite a bit of snow cover being suggested there, certainly up to 5 centimetres, maybe over hills 10 centimetres. But it is a very narrow zone, you'll see, and outside of that area, not a great deal of snow cover until we go out towards Scotland, where, of course, we have more snow cover from those wintry showers. That's how Euro 4 is picking things up. This is the high-resolution WRF model starting 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll run through to 6 o'clock, and again, quite wet across much of England and Wales. Very little snow showing up at that point, but through to the early hours, that rain does turn increasingly to snow. So that's how things look at sort of 4 o'clock in the morning. The white shaded area, that's where we've got the snowfall. And it's quite intense snow, so in a very specific area, you could get a bit of a dumping of snow by tomorrow morning. That's sort of southwest and West Wales, mid-Wales, into the Midlands, particularly the West Midlands, and maybe through the central part of the Midlands, even going into the East Midlands maybe. But once you go east of that, generally you're too far east, and you're in that warm sector, so it is mostly rain. But in that snowy area, it's quite wet snow as well, so not all of the snow that falls will stick, but because of the intensity of the snow, I assume there will in some areas be quite a covering by the morning. That excuse me, that takes into the early hours of tomorrow morning, taking that rain away to the east and fizzling its intensity quite markedly, so we finish up mostly dry, cold and frosty. And then finally, this is the ECMWF model from website weather.us. Now, this overdoes the snow depth, so don't take the snow depth too literally. Just we use this really to see the areas that might get snow through the course of tonight and tomorrow. So we're starting off this evening. There's a bit of snow turning up across parts of Wales at that point. We run through into the early hours, and you'll see it really is producing a big snow event here across many central parts of England and Wales, with those bright purple colours turning up. Those are snow depths sort of 10 centimetres or more through parts of Wales and into the Midlands. The model is assuming, this is the flaw within the model, it's assuming that every snowflake that falls settles, which we know is not the case. So it does overdo the snow depth, but again, you see it's in the same sort of specific areas where we're expecting the snow, which is central and mid Wales, down into the southwest of Wales, over into the Midlands, and then some southern, southwestern parts of England too. Through to the early hours of tomorrow, and the snow event is mainly over. It's producing a little bit of blue here, snow cover into East Anglia and South East England. Remember, it's overdoing the snow depth, so it's just really a wintry mix that's pushing through East Anglia and South East England. The snow cover, the proper snow, is going to be through central and mid Wales, I think, and into the Midlands. That's the prime sort of zone. It won't be as deep, the snow cover, as that is showing, but there will be, I think, a bit of a snow event tonight and tomorrow through parts of Wales, the Midlands, and some sort of central southwestern parts of the country, particularly at elevation, but not exclusively so. So at low levels through that specific area, remember it is quite a narrow corridor through that area that we're expecting snow. So I would have thought further south than, say, Milton Keynes, it is quite unlikely that there's going to be much in way of snow, unless this is trended southwards, of course, which it may be. The last snow event was actually trended southwards at the last minute, so that might take the snow risk down towards the Chilterns. But at the moment, it looks like it's going to be a little bit further north of that this time. And it's a more marginal event as well, compared to the snow event of December the 10th. So it's quite a marginal situation, but in a very narrow corridor through parts of mid and West Wales, Southwest Wales, into the Midlands. I think that narrow sort of corridor is at risk of seeing at least sort of 2 to 5 centimetres on lower levels tonight and tomorrow, maybe up to 10 centimetres, 4 inches over high ground. And also, don't discount with this the rainfall, because there is going to be a lot of wet weather before this makes a transition to snow. So I think, again, we're expecting 25, 30 millimetres of rain quite widely across parts of England and Wales tonight and tomorrow morning. And that could be enough to produce some localised flooding and generally make the roads pretty tricky. So if the roads aren't tricky with snow, they're likely to be tricky with rain and big puddles and flash flooding. Right, so it's a very interesting situation. Of course, there was a bit of a white Christmas across some parts of the country. Yes, these snowflakes were reported. Remember, for a white Christmas, the official definition of a white Christmas is just for one snowflake to fall on a specific site, a designated site. That did happen in a few places yesterday, so some areas did have their first white Christmas for quite a few years, mainly for Scotland and northwestern parts of England. But I think overall the last Christmas update that we did panned out quite well, and also weekend forecast where we did highlight the chance of some wintry showers on Christmas Day for the north. They came off, and then of course this snow situation and wet weather tonight and tomorrow. So that's all for now. Thanks for tuning in on your Boxing Day. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.